Howdy. Today we are looking at the Higasa. It is the weapon that came with Kome, her primary weapon. Well, one of two weapons. It's the primary weapon that came with Kome, and it's very easy to get for new players, which makes it interesting, I guess, if you're a low mastery rank. But can you use it on the high end? Can you use it on the middle end? Can you even bring it into Seal Path at all? That's the question. And it's a weapon that's in the game. Now let us look at its stats. It is a burst fire weapon. Kind of looks like a sniper rifle. I really like the design of the weapon. Very solid design. Chef's kiss. Has a fire rate of 2.5. Wow. That's rough. Magazine of 90, which is actually really good. A reload of 2.5 seconds. That would be really bad if the mag wasn't so high. It is a 5-round burst weapon. Has 24% base crit chance, a 2.0 multiplier, 18% status, 10.4 slash damage, and 15.6 puncture for a total of 26 damage. That's real bad. That's real bad. If we compare it directly to, say, the Tiburon Prime, right? Another burst fire weapon. Now, yes, Tiburon is a 3-round burst, but it has double the fire rate and nearly double the damage. That's a yikes. The Higasa is not good in the stats department. It does have an alt fire, though. The alt fire has a charge up. It's basically the Badacor's alt fire, sort of, kind of, how it works. It's like a big Opticore shot, kind of. Has a charge time of 1 second, a fire rate of 1.2, though the fire rate's irrelevant because you can't fire them back to back. A base punch through of 2, has a max charges of 1, 24% crit chance, 2.0 multiplier, 18% status, same, for those stats, and a base damage of 390 blast. And it's okay, except it takes a long time to charge up. As far as kills to charge up, you need 10 kills for 1 charge shot. That's not that great. Now, if we go to the weapon, it does have a Riven Dispo of 1, making things even worse since it is a new weapon. And it has a unique gimmick where when you aim, it creates a shield in front of you. Now, this shield is immune to damage entirely. Projectiles, as long as it doesn't, it's not like a punch through weapon the enemy has, which is very rare. It's going to block all damage in front of you that's like shot at you, which is really strong, actually. It can't be destroyed. It's just an invincible, always up shield when you're ADSing. It does go down, however, when you use the alt fire, though that's only for a period of 1 second, so it's not the end of the world. Plus, a lot of the time, I find myself not even using the alt fire. It has an augment mod that is supposed to help balance out the weapon, that it's got such bad base stats, and this augment you can only get through the Steel Path version of the Kome mission. It gives a 450% damage, and it gives the alt fire the ability to apply 1 random status effect. This is affected by multi-shot, so if you have 3 multi-shot, that's 3 instances of a random status. The random status is actually pretty much worthless. It doesn't really do a whole lot. I mean, I guess for Guncio, it can help, but it's really not that great. The weapon, both primary fire, even though it's a projectile, kind of looks like it might be multiplicative, is additive for Guncio. And so is the alt fire. Both are additive, which is unfortunate. If it would have been multiplicative on the alt fire, at least this thing could have been much stronger, but that's not the case. This is meant to take the place of Serration, which normally has 165 damage, I believe, so 450 is pretty huge, but then we can also already get a lot of extra damage from arcanes, so this incentivizes you to not use the typical damage arcanes like Merciless and Deadhead, but then you have to proc the other ones. And you don't want Toxin, because no. And Frostbites, you don't really want Cold on the weapon. You can proc Cold with your companion, but do you really want to build around this thing like that? If you want to, then Frostbite is a solid option, but I personally don't really think it's worth it. But I'll let you decide whether or not you want to do that. So the Serration mod, the Higasa Serration, kind of brings it up a little bit, but in all honesty, it doesn't really do too that much for the weapon. Now, we need to show the builds in the Simulacrum first, so let us go there. Big whoa. Here we are in the Simulacrum, and you know what, let's not waste time in this video, okay? This weapon is kind of dog water, so I'm going to show you the main way I think to build it and give a brief personal opinion on the other ways one might build it. But before that, let me show the shield. It looks pretty cool, you know, big fancy shield out in front of you. And like I said, it does block all damage from enemies. So if I unpause these enemies and simulates, these guys start shooting at me. Look at that. Blocks it all. Now you can charge up the alt fire by blocking damage on top of kills. So if you're blocking damage from the shield, it's not too bad to charge up the alt fire, though it's still not great. And then when we charge the shot, it takes the shield down, but then it comes back up. It's really just a weapon you're going to use to keep yourself from dying more than to kill stuff. For builds, you're not going to want to go with just upfront base damage. That's not really going to do much. It's kind of rough in that department. Plus, we have no AoE at all in this weapon in a AoE meta right now. So, you know, like radiation, magnetic, neither of those are going to do anything. Corrosive and viral, that's kind of out the window because A, you can get that from other sources, and B, that's still not going to be enough damage on its own. Like, you are going to need to get corrosive and viral from another source and then use something else on the weapon to actually do damage. Feed my dog real quick. For status effects other than the ones mentioned, we've got DOTs and stuff, right? We need something to help contribute to this questionable damage. So electric, heat, gas, slash, that sort of thing. Slash, not that great on this weapon, I don't think. And it doesn't really fix our AoE problem. Same for heat. And heat, we're losing the value that would be from stripping some level of armor because we're going to need to strip armor from something else anyways. So that leaves electric or gas. Because this weapon has, I mean, questionable status, can't really get a lot of electric procs. So I found gas to be the best for this, or the most consistent in my experience. So that's the only build I'm really going to show here because all of the others are just kind of like worse in every way. And I don't know, I don't feel, there's not really too much of a point of wasting time here. Now this is the build that I have come to think is the best in the most part, or at least for what I'm trying to use it for. Got prime shred, so we get punched through on the primary fire. And fire rate, critical delay, so we get more crit chance, then vital sense crit damage, multi-shot from Galv Chamber, Higasa Serration, of course, so we get that huge amount of bonus damage, malignant force and thermite rounds, that we get extra status, of course, and more importantly, gas. Rifle Elementalist for even more punch through, and for the status damage, 90% more status damage. Deadhead is here because even though it's just more base damage increase, it is still easy to proc and it reduces recoil. Not that this thing has intense recoil, but it also gives a headshot multiplier, which is good because it affects both the normal weapons shots as well as the gas clouds, because gas clouds can get headshots. So this is going to give us a much bigger damage on our gas clouds. Stabilizer is here because I didn't really know what else to put there. I honestly didn't even need to unlock the Exilus. I wouldn't do it if I were you. Or you could go terminal velocity, I guess, because it does shoot a projectile, whichever one you decide, if you even unlock the Exilus, which is kind of a waste. We have nothing affecting our damage on our Warframe right now, so you can see here. If we need to apply viral for the priming to show it off, I have Epitaph Prime here, and then I can group stuff with Telos Boltus, and I can armor strip on Unero real quick with, so where is it? The one thing that lets me armor strip, Caustic Strike, yes. So. First, we are going to want to build stacks and show it killing stuff. Not all like grouped up in armor strip and all of that. I mean, I guess armor strip probably. So first we're going to Yayi, pull them all in, armor strip, apply viral so it doesn't take us 9 years to get a kill, and now we can kill them. Of course, when we do all of this, it's going to kill, but anything can kill like that. So let's see against them without doing any of that. Very questionable damage, but that's because we've planned around the fact that we're going to have viral and or armor strip. So now that that guy's dead, let's strip this guy and then see. We're about to lose a deadhead stack. Not too bad. Let's go on a guy that's full health. It's acceptable damage. Then if we want just viral instead to compare, 10 stacks of, 10 stacks of viral. They are also frozen though. So that's damage that's happening there. It's not great damage, but it's not the worst damage ever. And if we come back over here, I'm going to reset these guys. Simulate. Strip their armor. And then shoot in a line so that the gas clouds sort of tag all of these enemies. And then you can get an idea of the AoE that we get going on because of the gas clouds. It's not terrible with all of this. It's usable, but again, you're not going to use this because you want to kill stuff. You're going to use it because either A, you really like the weapon, or B, you want the extra survivability the weapon gives. Then we do have the alt fire, which you get to shoot like once every 900 years. So that's the thing. Just armor stripping should be enough for it to one-shot a dude, right? So if we shoot this guy now, it can pulverize them. It does have a pretty wide AoE, wider than it looks, which is made even wider with the power of, you know, the gas clouds. Now let's murder all of these guys again and then show it the alt fire on the guys when we just have, you know, the base weapons things. So, you know, without the armor strip and the viral and all of that. If I was smart, I would just cut this part here, but I'm already talking now, so big whoa, it's not going to happen. Get clapped. Now we have the charge. We reset these guys, and then we shoot them and see what does this do on its own. Hey, not too shabby since we got a corrosive and a heat proc on the alt fire. That's not normally going to happen. That was extremely good RNG for us. This is a weapon. This is a weapon that is in the game. I guess I'll show it in mission real quick, briefly, not for too long. So, you know, seed mission. So here we are in the mission. I've brought Mirage because, well, I feel like Mirage is going to be the best option to use with it. Because A, she fixes the horrible damage of the weapon, and B, she's a really squishy frame that could make use of the shield, helping keep her alive. So she just makes the most sense here. I'll show the build, the Mirage build after this, and I am using the gas build on the weapon, of course. And then we have Nautilus to spread viral and suck stuff in. That way we can make use of the gas clouds more of overlapping for big PP damage. And it just, I feel like this is gonna probably be the best use case for the weapon. Not that you have to use it this way, but, you know, you can kill stuff just fine with all of this. I don't have the damage version. Oh, wait, that's not true. I do have the damage version, right? Oh, no, there we go. I did have the night version. I'm using the night version of Eclipse, so that's actually not giving us a damage buff here. Here we go. I now have nothing. Here, take off the armor strip. There, I have no buffs from Mirage herself other than Arcane Avenger now. That is the only thing giving us extra damage from Mirage right now. And we do still have the viral and stuff from our pet, but we can kill stuff mostly fine. It's not horrible. This is base steel path, so I don't think I would want to take this into like a level cap run or anything like that. But it's very much usable if you are just playing base steel path. I think this is the kind of weapon that a new player is going to get, really like, because it's cool, and then just have them, or have it carry them all the way through steel path once they unlock it. They'll probably find a better weapon later on in life, but hey, you know, I'm sure this will be useful. Look at that. All of those gas clouds from that alt fire just did some pretty massive damage there. Now, where is this guy? Right here. We want to kill this guy, and all of these gas clouds are going to make it pretty easy, I'd say. Gas is pretty effective when there's a bunch of clouds on him. I'm blind as hell. That's him right there, right? Yes. Yes, that is. I just can't see for my life. Look at that. It's killing the Acolyte. Yes, we're on Mirage and we have our clones, but it's killing the Acolyte. That's not that big of a damage buff, just the clones. Recast this, cast this. I want to get one more charge shot off before I go leave this mission. Get them all to get sucked in together. Look at that. All of these guys right here. And then all these gas clouds just pulverize everything to death. Very effective. So, you know, that's the weapon, I guess. that's it for the Higasa, I suppose. It's a weapon that if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't. But that's pretty much all there is to it. It's cool. I like the sound of it. I like the look of it. I'm yapping, yes. Oh well. I still wish it did more damage, but it is what it is. Maybe if they bump the Riven Dispo up to like 5 instead of 1, it could be useful. Like, just imagine. Dispo of 5, get a perfect crit chance, crit damage, multi-shot Riven. You can make this thing work. I might try to do like a level cap run with this at some point in my life just to, you know, for the hell of it because it's funny. And you can buff guns so much in this game that you can really use any weapon in any content and make it work if you try hard enough. So, you know, I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Here was the Mirage build that I was running. And as I had mentioned, I was only using the damage reduction version of Eclipse, not the normal damage buffing version of Eclipse. We had a Nautilus with a pretty standard priming setup. That's going to do it for the Higasa video. If you like the video, then leave a like and subscribe. Adios.